So I was Freestone Amateur National in Texas in 2015. I'd had a pretty successful year the year prior in the A class, won a few championships, and was really feeling strong going into 2015 for my last year as an amateur. I really wanted to make an impact, and I was ready to hang it out and do what it took to be a guy to get a solid ride going into the pro ranks. And so we got out to Freestone, and I wanted to set the bar high, and I was riding aggressive, and I went out in the first practice session. There was a section there, the Texas 12 pack they call it. They're pretty deep sand rollers, so everyone would jump through in various sequences. I believe it was the second to last one. I set the front wheel over the top and dropped it down into a hole in a little pocket and blew my hand off the bar and crashed. As I understand it, I was unconscious for roughly 4.5 minutes on the track, and then I came to, and I was fully cognitive, coherent. I knew who everyone was, where I was. So the medical crew there took me in the ambulance to the local hospital. They were kind of keeping an eye on me. I mean, there's not a whole lot they do immediately for a concussion. They did some scans right away. Over the time that I was there, about 45 minutes, I had a seizure, and I stopped breathing. They had, whatever their code blue, whatever it is, everything went into a panic, and they intubated me, put me on a machine that started breathing for me, and got me on a helicopter and life flighted me to a trauma center. And I stayed there in a medically induced coma for 36 hours. They did a lot of tests over that time to try to figure out why I had the seizure, because there weren't any marks on my brain that showed up in any scans. They went as far as to do a chest x-ray and realized that I had walking pneumonia. Combination of the two could have potentially put my body under enough stress that may have caused it, or it could have been a delayed impact seizure. That then led into a really long recovery process and a lot of soul searching that happened in my life.
In that process, the most important thing I learned was that my happiness and my benchmark in life didn't rely on success in a sport or success in academics. I realized that I had a rock and a foundation that was far more meaningful than that. I had felt like in the past, motocross was my goal, and hey, once I achieve this certain level of success, then I'll be happy. And without that, I probably won't. Which is a really shallow-minded way of thinking, but I think a lot of us get caught up in that pattern. We set an expectation so high, and we forget what we have going on around us at the time. So that injury just set me back into what at the time I would have considered to be the worst-case scenario. And obviously we all know there are far worse things that could happen than not being able to race dirt bikes, but it carried that kind of weight for me. And to realize in those months, I wasn't depressed. I still had a great life. I was still happy. I still had great people around me that encouraged me. And that was so much more meaningful. It was like, hey, I have this. If this is worst case scenario, my life is still great. And I just realized that my foundation was much stronger than what one single incident could control. So that was, I would say, the biggest growth point for me. I think I grew a lot as a person, emotionally and maturity-wise, throughout that, and just having a changed perspective. I now see that my faith is my top priority in life. and I find a lot of fulfillment in that. But I think the best way to achieve what we're called to do, you know, I mean, God wants us to reach the desires of our heart, to glorify Him through our actions. And I think the best way for me to glorify Him is through this tool that I've been given and this ability that I've been given. So to continue to pursue and to best apply myself on the track is to best achieve what I'm trying to in bringing glory to Him and to His way.